Oh, yeah, we got the You Decide video already.
Oh,
so
yes,
it's that time again. So yesterday, Texas Senator Ted Cruz announced he's running for president. No big surprise for 2016.
Hopefully you're watching that live right here on Fox 26 yesterday. Here to discuss in depth his campaign promises is our very own political commentator, Dallas Jones. Good morning to you. Glad you're here.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here.
Good to see you all this morning.
Well, let's talk about what his goals are, so to speak. So he mentioned the flat tax. We know in the past that idea just has not been successful here.
Absolutely. So what Senator Cruz has called for is the implementation of a 15% flat tax, which many may remember was championed by Steve Forbes, who ran for president back in 2000. This would essentially charge all Americans the same tax rate, which critics have said affects particularly the lower income communities disproportionately. And so in addition to that, he would abolish the IRS. What he said is that Americans can simply file their taxes through sending in a postcard. He's been reported in the past to stated that he would take the 110 IRS agents and actually put them along the border for border security.
The idea of simplifying the tax code, though, is appealing to a lot of people, and ultimately that's the theme on those thoughts, isn't it?
Well, it's appealing to some people. I think what we found overwhelmingly is that the majority of Congress has realized that the simplification of a tax code would really cripple many Americans, and so it's not been popular. It's not gained much traction, and it's currently, you know, an idea that has really been embraced more so by the far right.
Let's talk about how he feels about immigration. He certainly wants to secure borders, but he wants things to stop. He doesn't want illegal immigrants coming into our country.
Absolutely. Senator Cruz has been a staunch advocate of any immigration piece of legislation that he believes will provide amnesty to folks that are currently living here in our country. He opposed a bill that came through the Senate, I believe, in 2013 because he believed the provisions of the bill, which would allow people to apply for citizenship, pay back taxes, and other things in order to live and work here legally, he said that this was an absolute amnesty program and that he could not be supportive.
The other big item, and this has been probably the biggest item for Ted Cruz, is the issue of Obamacare. And he said it over and over a couple times, not only in his speech, but subsequently in interviews. You get me in the White House, I'm repealing every single word of it, and we'll put in something different. How much of that is bluster versus reality?
Well, I think if the composition of the Congress stays the same with the Republican Party controlling both houses and Ted Cruz winning the presidency of the United States, I think the American public can count on Obamacare being repealed. However, the likelihood of that scenario happening is very small, which many are calling Senator Cruz's run for the White House a long shot. But the reality of it is he has been a staunch advocate of Obamacare, so much so that he was willing to shut down the government and gave a 21-hour filibuster speech on the floor of the Senate. He has been passionately, even against many in his own party, to carry that banner, and so you could definitely count on it being repealed.
And finally, I just want to quickly ask you about terror threats. Certainly a continued problem in our country, a worry that we have. He does not want our troops to fight ISIS yet, so to speak.
Well, absolutely. So what he has advocated for is a support of the Kurdish Peshmerga, which are the fighters in the region that are fighting ISIS. He believes that if that coalition cannot combat ISIS, only then should U.S. troops be used. But he does believe that we ought to fully arm the Peshmerga in order to be successful in their fight against ISIS. It's a pretty cross-the-board belief across both parties, somewhere in the middle, that this is kind of the best approach to deal with ISIS at this time, given that we've recently pulled many troops out of the region.
Well, the thing about these early platforms is to see what gets traction and what doesn't get traction. So Senator Cruz kind of making his line in the sand,
Well,
so to
absolutely.
speak.
The thing about coming out first is you give people a little longer time to shoot some bullets.
It is. It is a long season.
goodness,
Dallas Jones.
21 months.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
being
Dallas.
here.
Thanks.